Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. Still joined by Congressman James Comer, the 1st District. And I want to talk a little bit about the issues of the day. Came out this morning that the redacted Muller Report will probably come out around Thursday. Do you agree that it should be released to the general public? And has Congress gotten to see any of this?
I agree it should be made public. The taxpayers paid a lot of money for this report. It's taken a lot of time and drama to make this happen, so it should be released, and Congress has just gotten about the same amount of information that everybody else has gotten.
You know, they said that parts of it would be redacted. I sort of thought it all should come out except the national security stuff. It's interesting. At first, the president seemed to suggest, I think he said that Mueller had done an honorable job, and then today he started ranting again. I've always thought, and I know you're a supporter of the president, but if he's really innocent, shouldn't he want this to come out? Like, isn't this the one way to prove it?
I think so, and I really believe that he is innocent. If you investigate someone for 2 years,
you'll find something.
You'll find something, especially someone that's been in business that long. But with respect to Russia, which was the purpose of the report, I don't think the president did anything wrong. Do
you base that just on, as they would say in church, do you hope so or do you know so? I mean, do you base that? Do you really believe he did nothing?
I'm pretty confident he did not do anything with Russia. There may be some things that would be somewhat embarrassing with respect to business, but any business person that has a business a tenth the size of the Trump organization would probably have a few things in their business past that they would have a hard time explaining. But with respect to national security, with respect to cheating in the election, I don't think the president did anything wrong, and I think it should be made public.
Speaking of cheating in elections, 2020 is coming, and one of the things I think that gets lost in this talk is the fact that Russians did interfere in the election. Are you worried about interference in the upcoming election?
Yes, I am, and I think that if you look at what I've said in the past, Russia's a bad actor. Vladimir Putin's a bad person. Did the president, did the then candidate Trump do anything with Putin? No, he did not. But I do believe that we need to continue to beef up our cybersecurity, especially in the swing states. I don't think we have to worry about anything in Kentucky, but in states like Florida, we certainly have
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly have to beef up the cybersecurity to ensure that there's no meddling. All Russia did in the last election was buy Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But who knows what they're going to do now, because we have a superior military in the United States, but our cybersecurity is inferior to about 10 different countries around the world.
Interesting to know. Now, you mentioned Putin. I'll tell you one of the things that bothers me about the president. I see him have interactions with Putin, Kim Jong Un, people that I think are bad people. Forget Republican, Democrat. These are dictators, and in Kim Jong Un's case, a murderous dictator. And he'll come out and say, what a great guy. We have a great report. Does that bother you?
It does not bother me, because I really believe that the United States has not had the right business model with the way we interact with these foreign adversaries. The president has a unique personality. He's obviously outside the box. I think we need to communicate.
So would you, when Obama communicate, because Obama talked about meeting with Kim Jong Un and got a ton of criticism from your party for it. Would you have been good with Obama doing it?
I would have been fine with Obama meeting with Kim Jong Un. I would have been fine with Obama having summits with Russia. The problem I had with Obama was the Iran deal. That was a bad deal.
What about the praising of him? Like, it's one thing to meet with him. It's another thing to talk about what a great human being he is.
Well, you have to be very careful. You don't want to empower him even more than he is in his country. The ideal situation in North Korea would be that there would be an uprising and the people would have a coup and try to really get with South Korea and China and form a democracy there. But that's probably not going to happen. I think the president realizes that, and the president's really sincere. He wants to have peace with North Korea, as do most of Congress.
So you're okay with the praise?
I'm okay with the praise.
All right. We're going to have to disagree on that. Let's talk immigration for a second. You have the problems at the border with the asylum issues, et cetera. The president has talked about busing everybody to these sanctuary cities. I think that's a huge mistake, because I think if he does that, a lot of these people are going to be granted citizenship by liberal judges there. What do you think?
Well, the president's very frustrated. I've talked to him about this. He wants to secure the border. The base wants the president to secure the border. He feels that he needs a wall, not through the entire border, but in certain parts. Congress is doing everything it can to stop him. He's gone around Congress. Now you have...
Does that trouble you?
No, because it's a matter of national security. Congress is broken.
isn't anything
I
a matter
wish
of
we
that?
could do it. I wish we could do it through
I
Congress.
do
The
too.
votes aren't there. What Congress is broken.
But
Congress
isn't
is
if the
broken.
votes aren't there, Congressman, isn't that's then elect
the
different
votes
people?
aren't there because a majority of Democrats in the House and all the Democrats except maybe for Manchin in the Senate want to see the president fail. They feel like if the president gets his wall, his base is going to be happy. There's going to be a good turnout, and he's going to be reelected.
But isn't the solution to that to beat them in an election? Like, there are things that I wish Democrats would do that they don't. But you know what? If you don't get enough votes, you don't get enough votes.
That's true. But the president feels he won the election. Now he won the election.
But he didn't win Congress.
He did not win Congress this time, but he picked up seats in the Senate. And the president, in his eyes, feels like this is the only way that he's going to get action on border security. He knows that the courts still aren't friendly, despite the recent gains in conservative judges being appointed to the federal bench. There's still a majority of judges out there that are going to block
Once you go
that.
down the path of for national security, you can bypass the law. Then you know when a Democrat gets elected, you know that the Green New Deal stuff is coming because of national security, isn't it?
It's possible. I wish that the president didn't have to do what he did. But there's no other way to secure the border. A majority of Americans, in my opinion, expect the president and Congress to secure the border. Because Congress is broken, this is the only way the president's going to be able to secure the border.
And I know, I agree with you, Congress is broken. But I think once you start down this path, you guys are going to regret it. The Republicans are going to regret it because Democrats are going to do it back to you.
Well,
and doesn't that make the country worse?
I hope that we find a middle ground in America, and but right now that's not possible, and that's very unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Let me ask you that before we go. How do you find a middle ground? Is it? I'm of the belief that TV networks, Fox News primarily, but MSNBC has a role, make it to where you're punished for a middle ground. You're actually actively discouraged from finding a middle ground. Do you agree with that?
I agree that both ends of the spectrum punish legislators for trying to find middle ground. Both ends of the spectrum punish members of Congress for trying to work with the other party. But I do believe there are issues where we do have middle ground. I think that most people want to see wages go up.
I agree.
And I think there are things that we can do in America to focus on the working poor, that we can do to help working middle class families. Those are the issues that we're going to have to find common ground on. And prescription drug prices. Everyone, both parties, is appalled by the drug companies gouging, especially when you talk about drugs like insulin that have been around for forever. There's no reason
One of the ways to stop that would be for some of them to not take as much money from the prescription drug companies. A lot of them take a lot.
Both parties. What happens is the drug companies bypass members of Congress. Like you won't see hardly any money from me and a lot of members of Congress that are in non-competitive districts. What you see is the drug companies bypassing the individual members because they get hit in elections for taking money from drug companies, and they donate it to the parties, and they donate it to PACs.
And they donate to both parties?
Both parties.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.